It's too damn late because the fucking broadcast is
Oh.
started.
Well, thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Yo, what's going on? This is a Critical Dump again, coming at you with another one here on Wednesday, July the 27th of 2016. We actually wanted to kick this thing off. First of all, I am Q Simple 5 here with my partner.
Yeah, non-sexual partner. We're totally like two totally separate beings.
Of course, people. Yeah. Of course,
Yeah,
people end up going to the head in the gutter type thing. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mister. You know, your head's just so far up here that you think you're just so better than everybody else. But excuse me, everybody. My name is Eric Davila or Adavila, whatever. It doesn't matter. And we are here to present you a number of different stories today. And I think that the man next to me, Mr. Q Simp, who is my colleague in arms, he has a very fascinating story. Actually, no, you shut up. I actually have a story. Actually, no, I have I have a retraction that I actually wanted to make because a short while ago I had I believe we spoke briefly on Mr. Milo Yiannopoulos, whatever, however the freak you pronounce that guy's name.
Yes.
And I remember at the time I had stated that I did not necessarily agree with the decision of Twitter to ban him away from their platform. But some new information has surfaced showing that he actually did some retweets on some. And apparently, these tweets were not actually created by Miss Leslie Jones. So I don't know where he got these tweets from, but apparently they were not hers. Stories are going around that this was done by a writer, but regardless of that, they were not originated from her, and that in part is what led to the decision for Twitter to ban the person. Now, of course, unfortunately, Twitter has some inconsistencies on holding these standards. You could argue that it was probably due to this being a high-profile celebrity that they decide that, hey, we're going to cover our ass and we're going to go ahead and just let this person go so that we can make ourselves look good, which, I mean, really, personally, that makes the Twitter look like a piece of shit. Jack Dorsey, yes, fucking you. Fucking standards all over the place. But other than that, I'm sorry, everybody. I just wanted to be sure that, I got that story out of there, and I'll pass it on to my colleague, my partner, Mr. Quinn.
Nah, I'll go ahead and comment on that. So he faked Twitter feeds and kept retweeting them as if it was her. That's interesting. What was the motivation behind this again? Like, I'm still confused on why they wanted to go after her specifically. I mean, I just find it funny is that, okay, they want to go after her for some reason. And it took Twitter this long. And of course, yes, being that it started getting out to the public airways and the story started being generated behind it. In my opinion, that's why they went ahead and said, hey, man, look, we need to get this dude off the streets because he going to make us look bad. So we're not trying to lose folks over some bullshit. So let's go ahead and get him out.
Yeah. And, Milo, looking through some of his tweets, actually, he's had a history of behaving in such a way. There's a lot of controversy that circulates around it. I mean, if you fucking search on YouTube, he speaks on a lot of topics, actually. And to be fair to him, that some of the topics that he spoke about, like the most recent video that I looked at, was like his perspective on Gamergate, which, a lot of points that he made that I totally agree with. But he also has his downfalls, his bads. And, besides the fact that he's... I think he's a gay conservative, which I have some issues with that, but I'll address that another time.
What's a gay conservative? I don't know all these titles and stuff that people try to put on stuff, but what is that?
It's just a political position, but
okay.
just like he's gay and he's a conservative, but I have some issues with that. But I'm not gonna bring that up right now. We'll definitely get into that. But I think you had something that you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, well we got it's going to tie in well, but we have Amy Schultz, who has turned the Democratic Party upside down and split them down two, to where Bernie Sanders people are saying screw her, to the point where they even booed her down in Florida, which I found hilarious because she almost looked like she wanted to burst into tears because she was so heartbroken. But it was funny because then she wanted to try to, I guess relate to the people saying, "Oh, this is not the Florida I know," and this. Stop it! Stop! You got caught. Stop!
And like when I was watching some of the video of that, and like there were some people that were booing, and there were some other people in the crowd that were saying shame, which I thought that was kind of catchy if they were saying shame. But I mean, what did you expect was going to happen? And I mean, it's unavoidable that the situation going to come up, especially with the emails surfacing and the timing. The timing was bad, but you also about the whole their allegations for who supposedly did the hack.
Yes, well, all I know is DTZ has extended his arm out to the Ruskies, allegedly. So, allegedly, Donald Trump has aligned himself with the Russians, and the Russians were the ones that hacked the DNC's email file, which was then released on WikiLeaks. That's a lot to swallow when you think about it. That's a lot. But is that true? I don't know. But then again, I'll ask the question, okay, if that is true, then yeah, Donald was foul. But does that excuse Debbie for what she did? Nah, I would assume no. So why is this story even getting put out there? Are we trying to say it's a national security issue now, or is how we're going to swing it?
But I mean, that is a bit of a stretch, though, to really even go as far as to say that he had something to do with it. That Donald went out of his way to try to make sure that their servers get hacked. I mean, that's a very roundabout way to really just find out the truth. Which, I mean, he would have to be very certain that whatever information that he's looking for was actually there. And man, he must have hit gold when he found what he was looking for. But I don't. It don't even matter because I mean you got fucking caught. So it's like why the fuck are you like, oh, that's the motherfuckers over there trying to like, man, shut your ass up. Nobody cares about that.
Well, you know how it is when people get caught doing dirt. They get upset and aggressive because nobody wants to get called out on their BS. But in this situation, she got caught. She got to deal with that. So, of course, she resigned like she's doing you a favor. And then now you got all Bernie Sanders people all up in arms because they're upset. And, very well so, because you feel that you backed this guy and come to find out that he wasn't going to be close to winning anyway because he would even have the backing.
Yeah, and I mean, the corruption just sort of ran deep, actually. And the information is still coming out right now because, I mean, it's thousands of emails, so it's going to be a little while before we find out everything. But we have people like Brad Marshall, the DNC chief, who has sent this email talking about, and I quote, "It might make no difference, but for Kentucky and West Virginia, we might get someone to ask his belief. Does he believe in a God? He has skated on saying he has Jewish heritage. I think he is an atheist. I think he read he is an atheist. This could make several points difference with my peeps. My Southern Baptist peeps would draw a big difference between a Jew and an atheist, which is a piece of shit fucking thing to do to manipulate people. Like, oh man, homeboy probably an atheist. Nah, we ain't go vote for him. Like, man, what? Wait, ain't you supposed to be like neutral? Why are you trying to make plans to like try to drive this dude off course? You try to fuck up this campaign.
That is a good question. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want, but hey, I tell everybody, man, they wanted to pay. I feel they're trying to pave the way for Hillary to get in. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is like, okay, him being atheist, what does that have to do with him potentially being a good president? Nothing. Okay. That's like saying, oh well, shit, he likes to fuck dogs in his downtime. Okay, he's a sick motherfucker. But what's that got to do with him running this country? Now, if you tell me he's a crackhead, okay, I understand because he may start selling secrets for a fix, and we can't have that.
Now some people may take issue with you trying to they may mistake you conflating fucking dogs or whatever the hell you said with atheists.
Okay, not to be used as general. Okay, that's an analogy, folks, which is using something separate to illustrate what I'm stating. Yeah. What I'm saying is in those situations, it would not matter what he is. Now, if he then wants to say, okay, I am therefore atheist, therefore I am going to spread my views to the rest of the U.S., then yes, okay, now he's in violation. But if that's not the case, and all he's trying to do is work towards making this country better, allegedly, then it has nothing to do with it. So then the fact that they would sabotage his campaign and try to put that out there, yeah, that's bull, I think. But of course, we know how people are. They like to feel affiliated with whoever they want to, run their country or whatever. So yeah, him saying, "Oh, I'm a Christian man, Christian value." Some people may vote for someone just based on that solely. They don't know anything about their policies, but they're like, "Oh, he's Christian, so I want him."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people just they sort of look at it as like a package deal. Like oh, he's a good-looking guy. He's well in shape. He's a Christian too. Oh, he's like this package deal. He's the perfect man, or whatever. And like sometimes, when they think about an atheist, they attribute just like these devil worshippers or these people who hate God, even though that doesn't make any damn sense. Because whatever, yeah. Because if you don't believe in a God, of course you don't believe in the devil. But well, whatever.
Some people do.
Yeah, some people do, man.
Which
it wouldn't be atheist.
Hey man, well, I'm looking like I think everyone believes in some sort of higher power, some sort of something more than this meager existence that we have. And in that sense, okay, I think everybody's trying to search for the same thing. We just put different titles on it. That's my opinion on it. But that'll be a whole conversation for another. That'll be a whole different
conversation. Yeah, I would have to disagree with you on that one, but yeah, that's a whole convoluted topic right there.
But I think everyone always searches for understanding. By searching for understanding, you're searching for something outside of your existence. And what I mean by understanding, I'm not just saying, understanding of the universe, understanding of how we got here, understanding all that stuff. You're searching for that. But like I said, people put different labels and different things. So for a Christian, it will be the creationism, or actually almost any most modern, I guess you could say any Abrahamic religion, Christianity, Islam, and or Judaism. And then even other ones like you go with Buddhism, searching for enlightenment. And I mean, in the end, we're all searching for the same things. We may not call it the same, but I think every one of us is searching. It's almost like where you say you want to look for your dad because you want to find out where you came from. So yeah. I think from that, every being want to find out, what is my purpose here? What has happened to bring me to this situation?
Well, I don't necessarily think that a purpose is actually imposed on you. I think your purpose is actually something that you have to determine on your own. If we were to push away the labels and actually just talk about the mere concepts of them, then really you would figure out that, or at least I would think that you would figure out that people are talking about very different things. I mean, if you're talking about like enlightenment, that would make sense in the context of whatever it is that they're talking about. If they're talking about a God, that would make sense in the context of how would they define a God. So it's a little bit more complicated than just labels. It's just, I think it's a bit dismissive, actually, to sort of project your only understanding of the world onto somebody else. like, oh man, you must be talking about God. You must be talking about the God that I represent. No, I'm not talking about what you're talking about. We're kind of talking past one another.
Well, yeah, in that sense, okay, I get it, but how do I put it? Because I look at it like this: why search for God if you don't have questions? Why even try? Because in the end, I look at it as oh man, so many concepts. But I look at it like, in the end, you're just trying to be at one with that. And of course, like it's labeled in different ways. Some people call it nature. Some people call it the universe, Mother Nature, God, Elohim, whatever. Now, of course, how you got there or how you're trying to get there is going to be a different path, and you're going to label it differently. But that's what I mean by the concept is roughly the same.
I mean, I don't even care about the labels. I just care about them just describing to me what they mean. Because I mean, if they're talking about they're one with nature, they would have to break it down more than just more than nature. I almost would attribute that to like somebody trying to tell me that they're spiritual, which is why I'm like, you know what, you gotta break it down to me a little bit more than that, man, because or else my mind's gonna fill in the gaps. Yeah. You don't want my mind to fill in the gaps.
But spiritual is just another term for it. I'm trying to be, because even in the spirit is classified in science. That's just energy. The spirit is just life energy and the life force that you have that gets you going. That's all in physics. Now, of course, we label it different. You have, spirit, life energy, or whatever, because a lot of different things call it like that. So, yeah, your body is powered by that energy that keeps you going until the spirit leaves you, which of course they call giving up the ghost or whatever. But then you look at it like this though, because they were saying that even when an individual dies, your energy can't be destroyed. The physical manifestation of yourself is, but what kept you going is not. So that's all explained in physics in part of the Newton's law.
Now, really, all of that you're talking about, I don't really know about. I have to follow up on that.
Yeah, energy is not changed nor destroyed, but transferred from one point to another.
Well, that part I actually am aware of, but a great deal of many people, whenever they use the word spirit, they mean something else other than what you're talking about. A little bit something more broader than physics, than a conversation of like physics that you were talking about more on the tail end. The conversations would go more along what you're talking about initially, and not necessarily on the tail end, and a little bit more fluffy than that.
Yeah. But we got to save that for our white cast member who decides to come back.
Oh gosh.
I guess
white cast.
Eric scared him. Eric scared him away.
I did not scare him away.
The big bad black man did wrong again. So
wait, I'm like always. I'm the one on here with like the squeaky voice, and like my voice probably sounds really weird. Like whenever I go to edit this video, and/or audio, however way that you guys are listening to this, it doesn't matter. But hey, we got totally sidetracked. And how the hell? We were talking about the DNC.
Yeah, I don't know how I got it. Hey, you brought up Bernie Sanders, so it all works into play.
Yeah, something about that's right. Something about religion, and then we were talking about what that dude name is, Brad Marshall. DNC chief and his crap apology. I mean, not his apology. I wouldn't even get to the apology. I get you about the DNC, but
and then Doc Brown's doppelganger and how they held him out of it, but he's still backing Hillary. So hey, I guess it's a business move, man. He got to do what he got to do.
I mean, I understand why. It's just not. It's not something that a lot of people would agree with, but they offered this apology, which I think is like it's a piece of shit. Apology. DNC statement on released emails. On behalf of everyone at the DNC, we want to offer a deep and sincere apology to Senator Sanders, his supporters, and the entire Democratic Party for the inexcusable remarks made over email. Oh my gosh, really inexcusable email. Oh,
which is yes, because you only apologize because you got caught.
yeah.
If nobody would have caught you, you would have said anything. It would even never come out until later on. They would be like, "Oh, my bad, bro."
It's almost really dismissive. It's really dismissive. Like, oh, we just typed up this bullshit 2-paragraph statement, which that's all it is just 2 paragraphs. It's like this is all it is. Man. So like somebody just slapped this shit together and say, okay, we issued a pod. Like, nobody even spoke on it. So
man, that apology is like when if I tell my wife, baby, I'm sorry, you caught me cheating on you. Mm-hmm. But I'm only saying it because you caught me.
These comments do not reflect the values of the DNC or our steadfast commitment to neutrality. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Man, y'all lying y'all motherfucking ass off.
Hey man, they're playing hey man, they gotta play the middle now. They gotta act like, oh man, we didn't mean to do that. That was solely on her. She did that. So she's gonna be the scapegoat. They're gonna tell her go sit down somewhere for a while, and that's gonna be that. Hey man, it's so much corruption going on. It's hard for people to pick. It's like, hey man, you want to die by gun, you want to die by rifle. It's like, well, fuck it, I don't want to die at all, but yeah, but you gotta pick one. Well, shit, that's not really much of a choice.
Yeah, but it says right here, these comments do not reflect the values of the DNC or the steadfast commitment to neutrality during the nominating process. Like, you know, it doesn't directly address the fact that they have been colluding with certain media outlets on driving a narrative about the Bernie Sanders campaign ain't got his shit together and all that jazz. We are embarking on the convention today thanks to the great efforts of Secretary Clinton, Crooked Hillary. Thanks to the great efforts of Crooked Hillary, her teams, and the entire Democratic Party will show you a forward-thinking, optimistic vision for America as compared to the dark, pessimistic version of that the GOP presented last week in Cleveland. Our focus is on electing Hillary Clinton, Tim Kaine, and Democrats across the country, thanks to the Democratic Party that is strong, unified, and poised for victory in November. That's the statement.
Oh man, from reading all that, all I heard was a lot of blah 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 blah. My bad, my bad. You caught us. Blah blah. It's just to cover your own ass, because now you're put in a situation where the people who did vote for Bernie are now seeing, and then everything Bernie was saying comes to light. It's like, and honestly, I'm actually, he a better man than me. I'm surprised he didn't come with that "I told you so" type speech. Mm-hmm. I mean, he said the corruption that goes on and all these different things, and then this comes out that it was almost set up for him to lose. And it comes out into public eyes, but now you want people to be calm about it. Hey man, you know, we understand you're mad, but don't show your frustrations.
Well, it's like, what? Nah, I wouldn't necessarily. I don't think he necessarily use that language, but it's like, you know, kind of like
I'm just saying this is how, because even then they were saying how they shouldn't, you know, interrupt the other proceedings as far as them going into doing a whole DNC or the conference or whatever. But I'm like, you just told people that they were cheated out of something, not because they just generally lost, because you set it up for them to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, you know, she's such a bitch. Like, you know, just like that little 60 Minutes interview that she had, her and Tim Kaine were talking, and the gentleman that asked her just merely a hypothetical question. To paraphrase it, it's if someone were to act in such a way that gave you preferential treatment, that would put I'm trying to think of how I would say it, that would give you an advantage over any other candidate within your own party, such as what the DNC had did. Do you think that's acceptable behavior? And she was like, oh, well, I don't have any I really don't have any details or anything on the situation, that happened with Debbie. I can't really comment. I'm like, and I'm like, bitch, it's just a hypothetical question. Like, what is so hard about a hypothetical question? Like, what, you scared that you go say something that you go be like, well, like, I don't agree with it. Like, later on she get caught up and you be like, hey, Miss Hillary said she's a very principled person that, if something like this were to happen, then she'd throw your ass to the curb. Did you not say that, Hillary, on the 60 Minutes interview?
That's what she wanted to say.
Kick that bitch to the curb.
Because she would incriminate herself. It's like, if people don't want to answer hypotheticals, in my opinion, they got a little something to hide because they don't want to answer the hypothetical because it hits home. So, yeah, her answering that question would have then set it up to her, like you said, later, if it came up, or this all of a sudden comes out, like, wait, hold on, you said that was wrong. So now are you saying that, is it still wrong? Or are we going to go with what the FBI agent said about you? Like, hey, in other cases, yes, it would be. In this particular one, no.
Yeah, kind of like what she said in that 60-minute interview. There's the Hillary standard, and then there's whatever, the Republican or whatever other standard. I have to pull up the damn. Man, the Hillary standard.
It's such a train wreck, though, man. It's like, okay, so we get that. You get Ted Cruz telling Trump, giving Trump the middle finger, basically. Mm-hmm. So that party's divided. I heard that the Bushes didn't even show up for the party, so that says a lot as well. Then you have this come out, and the guy who was running alongside in the same thing finds out he was shunned at the beginning. So, hey, man, I want to see some. Hey, since we're going with controversy, let's all of a sudden this third party guy just rise up from the ashes like a phoenix. And I mean, why not? I mean, you know what? Let's not even vote this year. Let's postpone it for next year. We want some better choices. We'll postpone it and we'll run it ourselves because hell, fuck it. I don't think we can do any worse. So we'll run it ourselves for this year and we'll try again next year.
Let's see how far that gets us. You gonna run it yourself. So how do you propose this idea, sir?
Hey man, we're gonna go old caveman style. You gotta, every man for themselves. But that's what we do anyway.
Well, did somebody? Never mind. I don't know what the heck that dude just done. But what? Yeah,
you did have one. Okay.
Nah, what you got going on?
No, I was gonna say one plus side to the DNC is you had two of the best MCs to get on. You know, you had Michelle Obama get on, and of course Doc Brown, aka Bernie Sanders. He got on and spit and finally calmed his people down. So at least he's able to work through it, and I get it. And then of course Michelle, she got up and spit a bunch of good bars, and and you know, of course that's why Melania kind of bit off hers. So she just figured, hey, she liked it so much, why not? But with that being said, after her speech, and she gave a good speech, and she was talking about how, you know, now, you know, she's waking up in a house that was built by slaves, and her seeing her children play on the lawn. It's something that probably would not have been seen in, you know, at a certain point. So she's trying to mark the progress allegedly that we have been making. I'm still on the fence with that one. But then, you know, you got Bill O'Reilly. He's going to give you one. So he comes in. And instead of sitting there saying, oh, well, you know, she's telling the truth. Yeah, you know, all that stuff. He wants to say, yeah, she's true. But, you know, the slaves that did build it were well fed and well clothed. Which I'm like, what's that got to do with anything? And the fact that you even put that out there saying that, oh, the slaves were well clothed and well fed, which I've heard from many people. Yeah, you still always have to break it down. It's like you forget they were owned, right? And not considered people and considered property. It's like, what does being well fed have to do with anything?
Yeah, that almost kind of treats him like a dog. Like, oh, but the dog was well kept. He was well cleaned, well fed. We got him neutered.
So you castrated him. All right. Yeah. But I've spoken to people and how they try to give this romanticized view of slavery and the impact it really had on the community. And honestly, it's even impactful to this day that a lot of people don't even realize. There's still a lot of psychological turmoil that goes on to this day that people don't even want to acknowledge. But the fact that you get a lot of people who try to downplay it as in, oh, it wasn't that bad, or, well, they did have to pay for them. Hey, having a slave was not free. It's like, let's stop. It's like, in that case, let me own you and I give you the bare minimums and see how you feel about it later.
Or let me take possession of you, and you don't have any freedom to say no, yes or no. You're just my property, and I can do whatever the hell I want with you. If I wanted to beat you, I can beat you. So, I mean, who the hell wants to live like that nowadays?
I don't know, but the interesting thing is that, okay, even after he made those statements, you had other people who were in agreement, and they were like, oh yeah, that's true. You know, he is a historian, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's a historian. He used to be a teacher. That's great. But just because but it's like, it has nothing to do with the issue. The issue is like, okay, you're saying, because what he was trying to say is, oh, other people also worked on it as well. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. They got paid to do so. But you had slave owners paid to have their slaves go out and help build a White House. But then you want to try to downplay that by saying, oh, well, they were well taken care of.
Yeah, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Really, I haven't actually taken the time to actually see that video. You want to take a minute to take a look at that video real quick?
Yeah, throw it out there.
Throw it out. Okay.
You hear that, man? A good history lesson for you.
Yeah, they're well fed. Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually at a loss for words. I mean, Bill doesn't ever, I guess he never fails to intrigue you or to give you one. Because he was also the same man that said most black males either are ill-educated, is the word, and also have tattoos on their faces. I guess I failed to get the memo that I needed a tattoo on my face. But okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, you definitely don't look the part, man. Yeah.
Hey, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. Goddamn whiteys. Oh man. And but the only issue I have with individuals like that is, and I would say this for anybody, if you have a platform, you have to be careful what you state, because if you say or state something, you have people who will hold everything you say to high esteem, and they will use it as rhetoric for themselves. They will spew it. I mean, let's talk about like how many people get most of their information from TV, and that's all the information they know.
Yeah, that counts for a lot. I mean, that's a big media source where a lot of that shit comes from. So, yeah, you're right. You got to be careful.
And oh man, it's crazy. But you know, like I said, you know, a lot of people don't get it, or but oh man, but yeah, after I heard that, I was like, man, this man here, he just had to find, and even I know one of the reports they were saying, like, instead of sitting there saying, hey man, it was a good speech, she had a great speech, it's like this came out and it was like it was trying to take the steam out of, you know, what was going on. But I don't know. But go ahead and throw out Debbie and see what happened with her.
Yeah, because I was actually continuing on from what you were talking about with Debbie, who ended up resigning as the party chair.
Oh, like she had a.
I don't think that's the right one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, malfunction.
Oh, we gotta put that one thing up. Technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, I forgot this account doesn't actually skip the ads.
Boo, man, how you gonna play it? We don't get paid for that.
Yeah, we don't get paid.
But
work on our sponsors.
But it's like even with her even stating those things, it's like you could tell she was just. It was. I ain't gonna say it was scripted, but it was like, hey man, you got caught up, so now you trying to make yourself seem a little bit better, and I don't know, man. Hey, those people who booed her, I would have booed her too. Why not?
Yeah, but see, I can actually edit that out in post, so it'll actually work itself out.
Oh man, but so what else happened? See, I didn't get to get all of Bill's, but you already know Bill had to get up there and spit because you know it was his wife on the line, so he got to make it seem like it's a good thing. So I gotta listen to his speech for the most part. But that's one thing I can't say is the speeches are better at the DNC than the RNC. So can we rate those two together? Can we compare the two?
Sure. Yeah. We can totally.
You know, you have Donald Trump came out like he was part of NWO from WCW days. All he needed was the music in the background.
Yeah, I told a homeboy of mine, I was like, man, all you needed was like the rock music just playing in the background. And he was like, come out like, finally, Donald has come back to wherever the fuck, to Philly.
But it would have been surprising, man. It's like all the controversy around everything. It's you can't write this stuff, man. This stuff is not, or maybe you can. I don't know. Conspiracy? Hey, you already know I'm up for it. But
here you go with that.
I mean, okay. So you get the RNC, you got the Melania Trump plagiarism, you got Sheriff Clark and all his foolery, Ben Carson and all his rhetoric. Ted Cruz pointing the middle finger to Trump saying, fuck you because you still talk bad about my family. And now on this end, you find out Bernie got put out. Then Bernie then has to side with the person that did him wrong. So, hey, like I say, he's a better man than I. You get the Bill O'Reilly outcome behind Michelle Obama's speech. It's crazy, man.
I'm actually having some technical difficulties on my end. Let me see if I could. Come on. Go. Yeah, I think there's some congestion issues going on, but regardless, I will leave that one be. Remove the video.
Oh, that's another thing. So also at the RNC, this is a little old. It was last week, but so they had a lot of people holding up Latinos for Trump signs. Oh, did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, I saw those signs. Yeah.
And but another thing is, they were held up by white folks.
Like, yeah.
Wait, what?
Niggas over there. I don't know what the heck they were doing. Like, were they trying to make it seem like there was Latinos over there?
Man, I have no idea. I seen the pictures of it, and it was like that. So I was, I don't know if it was HuffPost or CNN, but they were showing people holding the signs, and they have arrows pointing saying, that's a Caucasian person, even though Caucasians we'll get on that later. But okay, yeah, that's a white person holding up Latinos for Trump. Maybe they're talking about their friends that just couldn't be there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Then again, maybe you know they're actually Latino, but they look white. But it's kind of a lot of white people, a lot of Latinos who look white, who supposedly have signs.
Yeah, you know, that's the people that they try to call Hispanic, you know, who have more Spaniard origin than Mexican origin. But yeah, man, I had to bring that up. I forgot all about that last time, and I seen it. I was like, so honestly, these two conventions have been nothing but chock full of stories. It's like it's a story after story after story that came out of this, and it's it's fantastic. It shows you the travesty that this system is as of right now.
But you know, it only gets better too, because you know, almost immediately after after Miss Debbie steps down, Miss Hillary issues a statement. Actually, and I have the statement actually right here with me. Hillary Clinton's statement on the resignation of Democratic National Committee Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Following today's resignation of Debbie Wasserman Schultz from her role as chair of Democratic National Committee, Hillary Clinton issued the following statement. And basically, just to cut past all of this, because this is kind of a lot. I want to thank my longtime friend for her leadership and yada yada yada. And which is why I'm glad she agreed to serve as my honorary chair of the campaign's 50-state program to gain ground and elect Democrats in every part of the country. Which I was just like what? Like, do you guys like have like no shame at all? Y'all just like hee, my plan is coming together. He's like, yes, you've done my evil bidding, so now come back, my double agent.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that Hillary Clinton is a Sith Lord from Star Wars, or
yes.
a James Bond villain?
You've done my bidding, good soldier. Return back home.
Oh man,
no, why you fucking double agent?
Hey man, honestly, speaking of Golden 007, Trump does remind me of Goldfinger from the old 007 movies. You have to look it up and show it on there. You'll get what I'm talking about.
Oh, definitely. You said Goldfinger? All right.
Yes, look up Goldfinger. And when you look at him, you be like, okay, I can see Trump as that guy.
Maybe already made that. I would imagine somebody's already made that comparison.
I'm sure somebody said something. They always compare him to all kinds of things. I mean, but man, it's let's see. All right. But anyways, another thing that also came out, which of course they brought it up during the RNC, which officially none of the other officers will be tried, but the Freddie Gray case.
You said
I don't know. Yeah, Freddie Gray was the guy that was killed during Baltimore. He was actually being apprehended by law enforcement. I think it was 5 officers in total, and he happened to have died from a separate spine. Now, the coroner's report stated that it was a homicide because the amount of force it was necessary in order to snap the neck was based from a blunt object. But no one was convicted. So it's ruled a homicide, but nobody did it. So the question is are there ghosts around in Baltimore that maybe the ghost did it? No, the van came alive and ate him and therefore spit him back out. I don't know. But that story just doesn't add up because I'm like, okay, if it's a homicide, how can you say no one committed the homicide?
Homicide, but nobody committed a I don't know. I don't know much about that story. Let me take a look. What's the dude's name?
Freddie Gray, Freddie, Gray with an A. I'm sure it was the first thing that popped up.
Yeah, Freddie Gray case. Charges against 3 remaining officers dropped. 0 convictions against officers. Drop charges.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Because we'll go with the definition of homicide, which is the deliberate and unlawful killing of one person by another, or AKA murder, or other words, murder, killing, slaughter, butchery, massacre. I ain't a massacre, but I'm like, isn't that? But this is the second time that happened because I think I brought this up last time with the Eric Garner case. That was ruled a homicide as well, but no one was convicted. So, and I just got to explain it to a guy, and I was like, the issue is not all officers. It's the issue that when the officers do wrong, they don't get, nothing happens. So the question is, I really trust in a system that seems as if it's not working for me?
Actually, I briefly looked up an article about cop incarcerations, and I don't necessarily know how accurate it was, but I mean, it only detailed like barely 4 incarcerations, but in my opinion, it almost kind of seems like you don't really get too many cops who actually go to jail. Actually, in fact, there was a New York police officer, I believe, who was actually released recently. I'm trying to look up released in bail. What was his name? What was his name? This is actually
Let's see. You say he was released recently.
well, he wasn't. Well, he was acquitted of charges.
Okay. I don't know. Well, shoot, that's not surprising anyway, because I mean, of course, there were rumors that even if the DA even sees an officer come up, they're reluctant to even indict them on anything. And so I was like, I was trying to explain to people, I was like, look, if you're creating a situation or you're creating an environment that the people try to work the system, because it's like you try to work the system, but if the system's not working for you, you're then going to say, well, I got to do things myself. I mean, just think about it at work. How many people go outside a particular system because they feel it doesn't work? Hell, I was at the railroad. A lot of dudes did that. Rules were almost opinions there or suggestions. So you have a lot of guys who will say, oh, no, that takes too long. I can't do that. So I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Nah, there it is right here. Is it Peter Lang?
Oh, Peter Liang, yes. Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I know that story. So Peter Liang, I think he's a New York cop.
Yeah.
And he wound up shooting a bystander. So they were called out to a report in one of the project areas. So Peter Liang was actually, he was there on the scene, but what they were saying is that he exhibited poor weapons handling, not, against what their code is. So he did inadvertently shot a man basically in cold blood, because out of fear. But the guy wasn't attacking him or anything. I think he popped out around the corner at the wrong time, and all of a sudden he caught a bullet, and that was that. And they were going to indict him. I think they even had him up for up to 5 years, I think, at first. I'm going to have to fact check that one. But the Asian community then went out pretty much just banging hard for him, saying, hey, this is not fair. He's only being used as an example, etc. So then the DA comes out, and this is why I don't like it, because the DA then comes out and says that he is not going to continue to press charges on Peter Liang. I'm paraphrasing. And I'm like, why? Just because of the situation? Because now the people can basically vote you out of position. Now they're going to allow a man who did something wrong to walk. And this is the things that I'm getting at. So it's like you got a lot of people who will say cops are getting in fear or this and that. And okay, yes, you're right. It is a scary job. But if you allow that fear to dictate your actions in a negative way, you shouldn't be able to just walk away from that and go home.
Well, it may not even be a good job for you to be in. Oh.
That too.
Oh.
But I mean, and I didn't want to even get on the cop talk again today because I know it's pretty much almost like beating a dead horse. But this is a serious problem that we are failing to address, and no one. It seems like it's always getting pushed to the back, or they're like, "Oh, well, not all cops are this." It's like, yes, you're right, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about these guys. Like even the guy in Florida, the one shot the dude. And now the story is, oh, he shot him because he said he was trying to protect him from the other person. And I'm like, wait, hold on. So you mean to tell me you shot? First of all, the question is, how do you shoot the man if you weren't aiming at him? Because allegedly he said he was trying to aim at the autistic guy because he felt that the black guy was in danger.
That little truck in his hand or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah. But I was like, the guy stated, hey, he is an autistic individual. He does not have a gun. It is a truck in his hand. He stated that.
Yeah.
And he still got shot. So he did get shot. Okay, you say you're trying to protect him because you said he thought the other autistic guy had a gun. All right. But then after you shot the man, you handcuff him? Why? How are you? Because even a lawyer asked that question. It's like, how are you protecting him if first you shoot him by trying to aim at someone else, and then you handcuff him after you shot him? How is that protection?
Yeah, it was a really ridiculous story when I saw it, and I was just like, I was at my barber my haircut, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, homeboy was just like on the ground, just like hands up like this. He's like screaming at the cop, trying to tell him that, hey, you trying to explain the situation to him.
And the thing is,
like, what do you want him to do? I mean, damn.
There's nothing else. And you hate when people always say, well, you should comply with the law. He did. You have people complying and they still, and yes, good thing he survived, but what if he would have died? You could die from getting shot in the leg. Mm-hmm. So the question then comes out is that what's going to happen? And a lot of people were like, well, he made a mistake. That's true, but that mistake could have been costly. I was like, if you're in any other job and you make these mistakes, you will lose your job. Eric, if you're at your job and you start putting stuff in the wrong spot and start sending out wrong labels to wrong places, you won't be there long.
I mean, that situation would be a little bit different because you done shot somebody, so like that's a life-threatening situation.
Yeah, if I am a surgeon and I repair your arm when I was supposed to do knee surgery, I won't be a surgeon.
How'd you fuck that up? That's what I want to know. It's like,
man,
did you mix my charts with somebody?
And the thing is, okay, there is a such thing as human error. Yes, I get that, and I studied human error, but the thing is that yes, even though you exhibit human error, but that does not mean you're excused from your actions. You still have to deal with the consequences. We understand the situation. And we will try to put you in the best situation to make you successful, but you still have to do the job. You still have to be able to do police work and make the best choices. And I know a lot of people say, well, they only have a split decision to make the right choice. That's true. You want to know who else does? Combat pilots, military people, doctors in emergency rooms, etc.
Not really that special of a thing, you really think about it. But I'm not going to dismiss them by the hand and just say, hey, that they don't contribute a lot. I mean, they do a lot.
Yeah, and the ones that are really doing their thing, the ones that are really taking the time to really help serve the community, I commend those dudes because I think I explained it last time. I was like, the police officers, being that they are civil servants, are a part of the family structure or the village structure that is being used to raise the child. And a lot of people, but the thing is, a lot of people take that responsibility lightly. And I understand some people may not even want it, but if you're a school teacher, if you're a police officer, all these people, you're entwined in that neighborhood, in these communities. So the thing is, I think I brought it up last time, you should get to know your community if you plan on trying to redirect people there. It's the equivalent of, it's hard to redirect someone's child that you don't know or barely care about. You're not going to be the best person to do that job. But if it's your niece, someone close to you, it's a little bit easier. You may take some form of responsibility, like, hey man, I know this dude, I know this young man since he's been growing up. I got to make sure he on the up and up, make sure I steer him in the right direction. Yeah. My job, I don't want to have to go to lethal force. That's very, very last resort. But,
Peter Lang and all these other cats, and goddamn.
Hey man, he's gonna walk free though. And the sad thing is, the sad thing is people probably don't know and probably won't care tomorrow. And we're going to just continue to go down the same way.
Just tally it all up. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say it out loud. but I'll say it often. We got any more stories we got going on? Well, actually, there's plenty of stories.
Oh yeah, there's plenty. Oh man, but I think we'll go ahead and cut this one a little short now. But I ain't mean to go on a tirade and tangent. But it's one of those things. All I want people to do is learn, assess information properly, and we have to take emotion out of things if we want to really remain objective. You have to really look in the situation. And the thing is I think a lot of people have a hard time doing that if they can't find any kind of connection they can have with the individual or with the person in question. So that's something, like I was saying, man, look, we got an uphill battle going in to try to make things better. It's just going to take some work, and we got to really put forth the effort to try to make it work.
I think what's probably important as well is that everybody's to take some time out to sort of learn a little bit more about themselves and just assess what your limitations are and just learn how to work within your limitations. Sometimes you just got to take the time to sort of reflect on things, to get a clear mind. Sometimes it's like to take a step back and look at a situation objectively. Sometimes you got to say, hey man, I actually don't know. Let me give me a chance to think about it. I'm going to take a step back.
Yeah, and I don't know is an acceptable answer. It really is, because
schools will tell you otherwise.
Yeah, but the thing is if you go for philosophy, is the concept of, and here's why I say it, I know I don't know anything. But when you say that, people will say, oh, you're trying to say you're dumb. No, what I'm saying is I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. I'm not going to pretend like just because I said it has to be true and factual. I understand there's some things I will have to learn. There's some things I know right now I have to reteach myself or relearn or expunge from my mind. So if you go into that thing and that mindset saying, man, I know nothing, but I'm open, I think that it's a little bit better, because at least you're showing like, okay, and it may be more of the philosophical approach that says, hey, I would rather seek than pretend like I know.
Yeah, I mean, and this is pretty much a very open-minded way to kind of go about figuring out some things. Sometimes you got to look at approach a situation with a clean slate, but you sometimes also you don't want to reinvent the wheel, or so my superior would like to state.
Oh, I hear that all the time too. Oh man, yeah, man, that's all I got though. Except Sonic is back, baby. I will be getting it.
I just hope that I hope they go back to the interpretation of the comic. But
hey, man,
I don't think so.
I'm good for 2D high-speed actions. I'm good there. and everybody pre-order your Nintendo Mini. I will be getting mine, so I can try to get my ass whooped by old Nintendo games like back in the day.
With that shit, nah.
Hey, man, we'll talk about that on another show. But hey, other than that, man, hey, I'm Q-Simp.
And I'm Eric Davila. Hi, and goodbye.
All right, man, y'all be easy.
All right.